Hey guys, hope you're doing well. I'm making another audio today, and this one is gonna be about spells. Yeah. So we did one that was more a mental help audio, and now we're gonna do one about spell work. So, so you often ask me, how will the spell affect your target? And I'm just gonna tell you. So if we're doing a love spell, any kind of love spell, communication, love, expect, whatever, there are multiple types. The skull spell, whatever. What's gonna happen is I already explained to you how spells work. They work just like natural life, so things will happen just like in natural life when you get your ex back, get back into communication, whatever. But what exactly is happening? How are the spells exactly affecting your target is what I wanted to talk about, because I think not enough information has been given on this. So basically, if I'm doing a love spell, and if, again, any type of love spell, because even when I do communication, if it's meant for a love matter, I consider all of these other spells basically as love work, because that's what they essentially are. So if I'm doing any kind of love working, if you take the more powerful one with the baptizing, um, what happens is that I baptize one candle as the target, the other one is you, and you're kind of joined together. So this is really good for you to know what's happening with the target, because most likely, in most cases, the same stuff is going to happen to you as well. So we call that signs. Okay, we call that signs that the spell is working. And we talked about this. You're going to have dreams about the target, perhaps. It's different for everyone, and not everyone is exactly as affected. But, like, I would say that 98% of clients do experience signs. So, okay. So, dreams, also like seeing or hearing their name, some things that you might remind you of them. It's, like I said, different for everyone, because we don't have the same, we're not the same, we don't have the same lives. Numbers, dates of birth, all sorts of stuff, just them popping in your head, you thinking about remembering, having memories. So basically, all of these things are happening to the target as well, because we've done a spell that's like, mutual. Basically, it affects both of you. There are also spells that will be more, depending on the type, that will affect the target more than yourself, especially if there's no baptizing. So you will not be affected or as affected. So that's, for example, the skull spell will mostly affect the target, not you. And like the basic spells as well will not be that much affecting you, because there will be no baptizing. However, with these spells, you will, in 98% of cases, have these signs. So you should know that the target is having the same stuff happening. So dreams, seeing your name, all of those stuff, they're gonna experience as well. So yeah, and I know for a fact that this is happening to your target. And you might be like, how do you know? We are experiencing, but how do you know the target is? Because that's how I do the spell. I basically do the spell for them to dream of you, to think of you. But it does affect you to a certain point as well, because you are also in the mix. However, when I do the baptizing spell, I always um, do it more for the target. So I will, for example, carve your name 3 times on the target, and their name will be only once on you, because I want you to be less affected. So it will not get as much as they will. So think of it, if you're dreaming of them, they're dreaming of you 2 times more, because that's what I'm going for. Okay. If you're thinking of them, they're thinking of you 2 times more. If you sing their name, they sing your name 2 times more. That's how I create spells. That's just one thing. And yes, I do have proof that indeed they are dreaming of you, because I'm going to give you just one example. It's from a client. I don't usually discuss clients, but this is just to give an example, just because it just happened yesterday. So I remember it. I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Yesterday, I was contacted by my client, and the client told me that basically, the client told me that their mutual friend, from client and the ex, told the client that the ex told them, so the friend, that they had a dream about the client. Okay. See, yeah, they do dream. I have 100 more examples, but I can't, I'm not gonna share each one of them. I'm just gonna say I know for a fact they're having dreams of you. And I know it's a bit hard because when we do the spell, we don't know what the target is thinking, feeling, or dreaming, and there's no way we can find out. But see, sometimes it can be revealed, like in the case I just told you about. So yeah, they're gonna dream of you, they're gonna think of you, all of the stuff, because the spell is giving them the little pushes, it's making them think of you, it's making them remember you, it's making them dream of you. Yeah, what else does the spell do? Well, the way I create spells is, as you know, I guess you know by now that I have consultations where I ask my clients what the problem is, what the problems were. That's like really important, because I also make sure, you can get a blockage removal spell if it's like something you really want to remove. But it's if you're just getting the whole package, the X bag, and if the issue is not that huge, you don't need to buy an additional spell. So I will just include for the problem to resolve, for the block to resolve, whatever it is, for it to resolve. And again, to give you an example, remember the friend I did a couple of spells for the ex, and I actually filmed one of them, I think. And I also filmed a few updates. Now, I did not do any more just because she rejected him. Yeah. So he did want to come back, and she rejected him. So I don't know if it's like a success story, because I guess it is, but she didn't want him at the end. However, what happened was that there was this huge blockage between them, because he really wanted to have children, and he wanted to have like a bunch of them, not just one, and she just wants to have one kid or no kids. And that was the main issue between them. That's why he basically cheated on her and left her for another girl. And what happened was, when he decided to come back, and this was just a couple of days ago, weeks, sorry, I'm just, beyond time and space at this point. And he said that he changed his mind about kids, that, they can have some if she wants to, and if she doesn't, it's okay, and he will respect that, and he just wants her back. So that was the big, and if you think that's a huge thing to change their mind over, and no, a spell will not always be able to change someone's mind. It depends how stubborn the person is. So I wanted to explain how the spell worked. So basically, the spell worked in a manner that he was getting, well, should I start from the beginning, how I did it? So both her and him are around 30 years old, which means they're just having their Saturn return. A Saturn return is a really important thing in everyone's life, and it happens kind of around the age of 30. And that is when we kind of change and we realize things. Saturn is basically a teacher. It's a teacher. So when I did the last spell for her, I did a skull spell on a full moon. Not this one, but the one before, or 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 even before. Yeah, I think it was a couple of moons ago. Anyways, I did a skull spell, and I always, as you know, ask Joffel's assistance when I do any sort of spell. However, this time I also asked Saturn to join the planet. Yes, the planet, sorry. That is what you can do to join in. And I really asked from Saturn, since I know it's active in his chart at the moment. I asked the Saturn to really make him realize that it's those type of things he thinks are really relevant are not, and that the love is the most important thing, and that you don't choose a partner based on like logical things, like men do tend to do that, like who's gonna bear more kids and things like that. You choose them on who you actually want to be with, because I knew he actually wants to be with her, and he just rejected her for some stupid, basically it's stupid, silly reasons, for his wishes that are not that important in life. What's important is actually love, guys. And that's what I did, and it actually worked. He actually was thinking it over, obviously, and came to that conclusion. It took him like 2 or 3 months, since I actually did the spell precisely the way I told you. Well, it's not the only thing I did, of course, but that's a part of the spell. Was a part of the spell, a really important part. And yeah, it can be done. However, I really need to know some things and kind of know where to actually kind of how to do it. And this was a perfect opportunity because of the Saturn. And I'm getting more and more into astrology, and I can see that it actually all makes a lot of sense. So I kind of used that fact, and that's when it worked. And I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone, because they are really stubborn targets. And this was a stubborn target as well, very stubborn. We did work with him for almost a year, I think, altogether. So even though I kind of started in summer, I think she did say that she got some other spells before for him. She did it themselves, I think. I don't know. Don't remember really, because I have so many clients that I just can't keep track of everything, just in my memory. However, yeah, that is what happened. So I'm not saying any obstacle can be removed, but yeah, we can work on those, and yeah, people can change their mind actually. Yes, they can. This was a total change of heart, basically, what happened there. And then she was like, oh, no thanks, and I did so much work, and it's okay. I think it's okay. I don't mind, because the important thing is that my client is happy, and if she's ready to move on and find something better, I'm happy. Anyways, I wanted to mention that. Another thing I wanted to mention was, if you're doing your own spells, okay, and it's not easy to actually craft a spell. You need to know about lots of things, and you will also need to know that you need to craft a spell really wisely, and I talked about this before. So you don't want it just to be, "Oh, make them love me," or stuff like that. You want to make sure you remove the obstacles. You will probably need multiple spells if you're doing it on your own, like just like one for communication, one for cleansing, one for blockage removal, whatever. And the actual love spell is like the least important, because they most likely have feelings for you, your ex, for example. but there are things that are just getting in the way of those feelings, and that's what you should focus on. But it's not what I wanted to say. What I wanted to say is when you're doing the spell, and if you're doing some hoodoo stuff, which I love, hoodoo is amazing and works really really good. So, for example, I do use hoodoo in my baptizing spells. So all of those more powerful spells, and the skull spell will have elements of hoodoo. So if you're actually baptizing the candle as the person, as the target, it's really important to feel the energy of that person, to actually feel the energy that it's in the candle. And if you're doing everything right, if you are a really talented witch and you're doing everything right and you know what you're doing and you have some experience, you definitely feel the energy of the person. And it's I don't know how to describe it in words, but you'll just know. Basically, you'll have physical sensations. You'll know you awaken the energy of that person, and it is a bit harder to do, I would say, and a bit takes a bit practice and time for sure, because when you really get into it, that's when you can actually work with clients because you can feel energies and things. But a lot of witches just do stuff for themselves, which is great. So you really gonna feel the energy of your target, and you're gonna know that you feel it. You're just gonna know. It's not like there are signs. If you feel it, you're gonna know it. There will be signs. You will be just feeling it all over your body. You will have physical sensations. For example, if it's for your own ex, you might even feel sensations in your um, intimate areas. So yeah, and it's gonna be all connected with the actual candle that became your target, and you're just gonna know, and that is how you perform the spell correctly. Because I've noticed there's so many witches that just take a candle and take some herbs, and they do everything okay, the whole process, the whole ingredients, it's not wrong. It usually can't even be wrong because there are so many ways you can do magic that I will not tell you, oh, you did this wrong, because you didn't. They'll have the exact oils they need, everything, everything fine, but they just don't have that contact with the energy, that connection with the energy. And that is basically what spells are about. So it's about energy, it's energy work. And a lot of people kind of just think it's just lighting a candle and using some ingredients and burning a petition. And that does have a certain energy, of course. A petition with written words and names are there. That stuff is also powerful. But if you want to be like a really powerful witch, or if you are a really powerful witch, you do sense energies, you work with energies, you manipulate energies, you can feel energies. So, just like if you are a tarot reader and you read for everyone, you also feel energies, you read energies. So it's basically that, it's energy work. So if you're just gonna do the spell without, not everyone can feel energies, so the spell might still work because there are energies in the petition. Like I said, in your intention, there's a lot of energy in your intention. And yeah, but really strong witches, they really feel the person inside of the candle when they do the whole ritual. So that is maybe something to see if you can do. And for practice, it's really easy to use someone you have an energetic bond with. So yeah, you most likely still have an energetic bond with your ex, if it hasn't been too long. So that's a really strong energy bond with an ex or with someone you slept with, because you just get bonded really powerfully there. So I wanted to kind of mention that a little tip for witches to be future witches, I guess. And yeah, that's all from me today.